Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to AMI Organics Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Ambit Capital. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in a listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Prashant Nair from Ambit Capital. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aman. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to the AMI Organics earnings call. My name is Prashant Nair, and I cover healthcare at Ambit. For this call, we have the pleasure to host Mr. Naresh Kumar Patel, Executive Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Abhishek Patel, CFO of AMI Organics. I will now hand over to Abhishek to take this forward. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Prashant. Good afternoon, everyone. We are pleased to welcome you all to our earnings call for Q2 FY22. Please note that the copy of our disclosure is available on our investor section on our website as well as the stock exchange. Please do note that anything said on this call which reflects our outlook towards the future or which could be construed as a forward-looking statement must be reviewed in conjunction with the risk that the company faces. With that, I would like to hand over the floor to our chairman, Mr. Naresh Patel.
Thank you, Abhishek. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Naresh Patel, Chairman and Managing Director of AMI Organics. Heartily welcome you to our maiden earnings conference call. I hope you and your family are safe and sound as COVID continue to cast a shadow on our day-to-day lives. We maintain the highest level of safety measures at our plant and offices to keep our most important stakeholders, employees, safe. Before I discuss the results, I would like to thank you all the shareholders for their confidence and trust in AMI Organics and its management, which was visible in the successful listing of our shares on bourses. We are overwhelmed by investors' response to our IPO, which was visible in the 64 Act subsection for the IPO. I would once again thank all of you for your vote of confidence in us, and we will do our best to create value for our stakeholders. Now, I would take this opportunity to brief you all about AMI Organics. We are an R&D-driven manufacturer of specialty chemicals focused on two business segments, mainly pharmaceutical advanced intermediates, also known as pharma intermediates, and specialty chemicals. Under pharma intermediates, we have developed and manufactured pharmaceutical intermediates for APIs and new chemical entities. We have developed and commercialized over 450 pharma intermediates for API across 17 therapeutic areas and also new chemical entities. Under our specialty chemical segments, we manufacture key starting raw materials for agrochemicals and fine chemicals. We have recently acquired two facilities from Gujarat Organics, which help us foray into the preservative and other specialty chemicals used in manufacturing of cosmetics, dyes, polymers, and agrochemicals. Now, I'm coming to financial updates. I'm happy to inform you that during the half year H1 FY22, we grow 51% on year-on-year basis to revenue rupees 2,354 million. Our margins were slightly suppressed in the first half, which was on account of the integration of two new assets acquired from Gujarat Organics. We are confident that our focus on process optimization, better utilization, and cost controls for these newly acquired facilities will soon bear fruits, which will push our margin upward. I will let our CFO, Abhishek Patel, discuss this in detail post my remarks. On the business update, I would just like to announce that in last quarter, since last 4 years, we were developing some China substitute product, and in last quarter, we started distributing our two product, which is now we are started commercially producing. And these two China product is which is only in. We are one of the largest producer in upcoming years going to be in India. I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Sanjay Vasoya. He is a doctorate and is joining us as Assistant Vice President R&D. He will be spearhead our R&D initiative. I'm confident that his addition to the team will help us accelerate and deepen our R&D focus. Before I conclude my remarks, I would like to mention that the demand environment for our product remains strong even in such times of turbulence around the world. I continue to remain bullish on our growth in the coming months. Now I request our CFO, Mr. Abhishek Patel, to discuss the financials. Over to you, Abhishek. Thank you.
Thank you, Naresh Bhai, for your opening speech. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to briefly touch upon the key performance highlights with the quarter and half year ended September 2021, and then we'll open the floor for question answers. First, I will start with the quarterly update. In this quarter, revenue stood at 122.3 crore, which is up by 34% as compared to Q1 FY20, as compared to 91.3 crore in Q2 FY21. The gross margin for the quarter was 54%. During the quarter, we observed that the raw material prices started climbing up due to expected shortage situation as a result of current circumstances in China. But the positive thing that we have already started passing on this incremental cost to the customer, and there will be some lag related to the passing of these extra costs, but we are confident to make it happen in next 2-3 months. EBITDA for the quarter stood up at 27.4 crore, which is up by 25.2% as compared to previous quarter, which was 21.9 crore in Q2 FY21. EBITDA margin was 22.4% in the quarter. PAT for the quarter was 17.5 crore, up 14.8% compared to 15.2 crore in Q2 FY21. PAT margin was 14.3% during the quarter. Now coming to the half-yearly numbers, our revenue grew by impressive 51.1% to 235.4 crore in H1 FY21 as compared to 155.8 crore in H1 FY21. I want to mention that traditionally we have been growing sequentially. So every year our Q1 is the low performing quarter, and subsequently Q2, Q3, Q4 starts giving us the better and better results every year. So Q4 is again expected to be the best for us in this financial year also. This leads to H2 contributing more compared to more in top line compared to H1. You can visualize from our past financial that generally our H1 is contributing around 40 to 45% of the total revenue, whereas H2 contributes around 55 to 60% of the revenue. We can expect similar trend which we had in last 5-6 financial year to continue in this financial year as well. Now on the EBITDA side, EBITDA continued to grow with continuous momentum, with our half-yearly EBITDA coming at 49.5 crore, the staggering growth of 43.2% compared to the same period last year. Even with the impressive growth in EBITDA, our EBITDA margin remains little bit suppressed during the first half of this year at 21%. As the EBITDA of the core business continues to improve, in our core business of Unit 1 located at Sachin, the EBITDA margins has in fact marginally expanded as compared to FY21 closing financial. But because of EBITDA integration of newly acquired facilities, which has been remained almost non-operative in the first 2 months, that has dragged our overall EBITDA. Our operations in a newly acquired facility were minimal during the first 2 months, leading to the higher single-digit EBITDA for us from this facility in H1 FY22. In this opening remark, Mr. Naresh Bhai also mentioned that we are looking on various process optimization, better utilization, cost control initiative in this facility. Along with these initiatives, the production activities are improving month by month. We are confident that will improve our margin as the revenue from operation increases in those facilities. The jump in the employee cost was on account of integration of those two facilities during this H1 FY22. Now, PAT stood at 31.2 crore in H1 FY22, which is up 29.2% as compared to the same period last year. PAT margin for the first half came at 13.2%. Coming to the balance sheet item, we have repaid debt of 136 crore during the quarter, which is as per our object of the issue of the IPO. And now we would like to announce that as on date, we are net debt free company. The cash and cash equivalent for the September ended 2021 stood at 100.8 crore. Apart from this, we have an additional 40 crore has been set aside in the cash for our FY23 working capital requirement as well. Before I conclude my remarks, I would like to highlight that FY21 number does not include revenue from two newly acquired facilities. So it was slump sale transaction at the year end. For the first time, half year revenue figures include those revenue coming from those two newly acquired units. The total revenue generated from those two units are 39.5 crore in FY22, and margin is on a higher single digit territory. Now, I will now conclude my remarks with a request to the moderator to open the floor for the question and answers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may please press star and 1. First question is on the line of Dhaval Shah from Swan Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Hi. Very happy to see the expansion in the gross margin as shows we are moving more towards value-added products. So a couple of things I did not understand. First is, so you mentioned we did 40 crores revenue in the first half from the Gujarat Organics. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now last year, I think our revenue was 110 crore from Gujarat Organics for the full year.
So actually, your figure is correct, but that was not consolidated on our financials.
It is for annual, not for half year.
109 crore was the annual revenue.
Yes, yes. Correct. But then that means we have, was the plant non-operational during the first half for some time, or is there seasonality in the revenue?
Yes, sir. As I mentioned, because of post acquisition, there were some cleaning up and streamlining activities were going on for us during Q1 FY22, wherein first month of April and half of maybe by May 21, we had very minimal operations going on over there. So because of that, the revenue started coming from June, July, August, September months for us from those two facilities. See, we acquired those new facility. We envisaged that this is going to be a transition period for them, those new employees as well. And this is a process of integration. Then it does take time everywhere. So we have been in process of integration, and since now it is being integrated completely, now it is showing a good positive signs in terms of revenue as well as the operational efficiency.
Okay. Now, and compare and our AMI Organics, if you look at it, so we did 196 crore versus 157 crore. That's like 25% growth. Now,
What is 155 crore?
Yeah. Sorry, that's other income. Okay. Did we have any loss of revenue in this quarter, in this business as well? Anything?
See, there wasn't a kind of loss of revenue, but we witnessed some of the supply chain and logistic issue in the later part of Q2, and that was a little hampering for us.
So, Dholbhai, there is a material is already finished, product is already laying, but unfortunately because of the shipment delay, because of the logistic issue, and mainly our customers situated in Europe and Japan area, so that's why some material has to move in September is not moved. So that will be going to be dispatched in October and this quarter. So that's why inventory is little bit higher because of the finished good which has to go from our warehouse as yet not moved during the closing of the quarter.
Okay, fine, got it. So now, for the next 2 quarters, what sort of revenue visibility do you have?
We have a very, very good visibility of the revenue, and it is as Abhishek has already given before the start of the call, that we are growing at 25% CAGR, and historically also in last 6-7 years, our H1 is around 45, and H2 will always be between 55 to 60. So similar kind of things has to be possible in this FY22.
Okay. So last year we did 340 crore in AMI Organics standalone. So we should be upwards of 25% growth in this, is what you mean?
It is historically is like this, and the revenue from Gujarat Organics will be remain as the last year only, because we could not able to do much effort in that, as we lost already 1.5 month in the beginning of the quarter one.
Okay. So at least you will do 100 crores, 110 crores flat.
Yes, that you can expect.
Okay, and on the margin front, we were like single-digit margins. How would that be in Gujarat Organics?
See, you can expect that be despite of loss of production during the first 1.5 months, and then revenue slowly picked up. We are still at a higher single-digit EBITDA margin for that business. So we are definitely expecting the early single-digit EBITDA margin for that newly acquired business.
Acha, got it. And the last question before I come back in the queue, what led to our gross margin expansion, such sharp gross margin expansion?
Gross margin expansion is a cumulative effort of several things which include cost effectiveness. As I already briefed during my roadshow also, that AMI Organic is very cautious about the supply chain, and we started working in supply chain since 2011. And at that time we were around 70% importing of raw material. Currently we are only importing 27%. And out of that, is only 18% from China. So the impact of this pandemic or China issues and all will be very well covered by AMI Organics for the dependency of the raw material. And this is also now giving a fruit us that our margins are also, though there is a big pressure going on and everything, our margin is very well maintained because of our dependency of the raw material is not outside India. And also, in fact, our margin is much better than the last quarter on quarter and year to year. But unfortunately, or I can say unfortunately, because the investor is always looking the profit margin and all. But for the long-term vision, if you see that Gujarat Organics, which any acquisitions or any new infrastructure is always having little bit suppression in the gross margin. So that is the only impact on our gross margin. Otherwise, Organic Unit 1, our margin is much better than our last performance.
Yes, sir. Yes. Great, sir. Wish you all the luck, and I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Amar Maurya from AlfAccurate Advisors. Please go ahead.
So thanks a lot for the opportunity, and congratulations for a very good set of numbers in terms of the growth. So a couple of questions from my side. Number one is in terms of our, if I strip the growth of basically, the overall, the standalone business, stripping the GOI growth. So this quarter, I believe the growth was only 13%. So this is largely due to what reason, sir?
Hello. You are talking about
I'm talking about the second quarter growth of standalone business
vis-a-vis
the last quarter of September, vis-a-vis the September quarter of last year.
Okay. So last year we had a very sharp jump in revenue, which was the post COVID opening quarter for us, and that revenue suddenly jumped from 63 crore to 89 crore in Q2 FY21. So that is being little stabilized in Q2 FY22.
Okay.
So in consolidated, when you see it, it's again 25% growth, but the quarter on quarter it looks little kind of flattish.
No, I was asking, I got this. Thanks a lot for explaining this. Basically, you were explaining, right, the earlier participant about that, few of the shipments got delayed. So is it like if those delays would have not happened to you, the revenue at a standalone level would have been much better?
Yes, sir.
And how much would be that quantum, sir? Obviously, that would come in the next quarter, right?
Yeah, but the exact number, it's not possible.
On an average? On an average? Ballpark?
See, there is an opportunity loss also because of shipment delay in shipment of raw material. Our production level gets a little bit staggered. But if we strictly go by the number, we have at least 7-8 crore inventory increased as compared to the normal level which we can expect. So that we can take up from the financial that this is the kind of revenue we can expect additionally if those shipments would have been sent.
Okay.
And this inventory is the cost of the raw material production, not at the cost of the sales.
Yeah, so obviously this 7 crore would have been at least say 25 to, obviously much higher than the sale price. Much higher than the inventory price. I got that. And secondly, sir, when you say that, normally your first half is 45% and second half is remaining. So in the first half, in your ME business, standalone business, you had done something around 437. You had done something around 196 crore kind of a business.
196.
So, yeah. So basically, so this ratio is going to remain for the whole year, like 45, and the remaining would be coming in the next second half?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And given that now you had already seen in a standalone business also, there is an improvement in a margin of around 160 basis point. So do we expect to maintain this 23% kind of a margin in a AMI business going forward for the third and the fourth quarter?
In fact, sir, we expect to expand our margins for standalone business in Q3 and Q4 because the revenue picks up during the same time by all the 10-15%. So that operational leverage definitely help us to slightly better margin for Q2 and Q4.
Got that. So at least we can expect kind of expansion you had seen in the second quarter around 160 basis point would be visible in the third and fourth quarter also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. And now coming to the GOL level. Basically, GOL, as you indicated that, the revenue is likely to remain same. But because now, it is run by you and now you have a better integration at a plant level. So at least can we expect a better efficiency and can we expect a better margin versus the last year?
Yes, we have even started witnessing those figures. If you see in that last financials, our margins slightly improved despite of the muted operations in H1 FY22 also. So with improved operation, we can definitely have a even better realization in margin.
Okay. So okay, got that. Fantastic. So just sir, one more clarification, like at the standalone level, so can we expect that the exit margin something around 26% for you at a EBITDA level?
Are you talking about full year margin?
No, standalone.
Standalone Q4 margin.
Standalone Q4 margin, yes, it can improve as compared to what is being right now. But that is difficult to conclude that it will be at 26% or 25%, considering the fact that we have certain unwanted or very dynamic pricing right now going on in terms of very commodity raw materials also. Commodity raw materials are fluctuating very high during this time. So that depends on the future pricing of those materials also.
Okay. But you expect the improvement in the second half versus the first half?
Yes, but as per this ongoing situation, we can definitely say these margins are improving.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your time. I'll come back in queue.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Ashutosh Agarwal from ND India. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon. Apart from the trigger of amalgamation of the company we took over, are there any other growth plans for the company, any greenfield or brownfield expansion or any capacity expansion planned in the upcoming 1, 2, 3 years?
Yes, we are going to put up an expansion plan, but that is under review, and in the Q3 we will be deciding on that. That is for our growth of FY23 and FY24.
Okay. Are there any product plans? Sorry?
Not FY.
Year 23 and year 24.
Yeah, that is fine. Ultimately, we are looking for the long-term journey. So there will be new products, or it will be expansion in existing line of business?
Your voice is breaking. Can you repeat the question, please?
I am saying that whether that expansion will be in existing line of product or there will be new introduction of product.
It is a cumulative of both existing as well as the new product, because we have a very strong pipeline and our China substitute product is now maturing. So we already had two products we are introducing in this financial year, and upcoming years we are also going to introduce 3 more. So that is for that we are going to put up some additional kind of equipment which is catering this new product as well.
Okay, and how much it will be in percentage, like for maybe production in terms of metric ton or maybe in terms of revenue, how it will jump our product or capacity, like that particular expansion which is planned for FY23 or 24?
This is all, see, these are all on multi-metric tons, like 500 and 1,000 metric ton kind of products. So for that, we have to put up a very advanced manufacturing plant. So that we will design, and mostly we are going with the continuous DCS system kind of thing, so that that will be catered for bigger quantity of volume.
Okay, so if I talk about an overall position of a company, sorry?
But the
I was saying that
is still under process, so it is difficult to give you a precise number in terms of metric ton and additional capacity as on date.
Okay, maybe a tentative idea, like 50% or 60%, how much bigger that expansion will be if I talk about for a company as a whole?
It's not like a percentage kind of thing, but that is a dedicated block we are going to put up in Jagadia. So these are all a very dedicated products. We will put a dedicated block for both the products. So that will be in hundreds of metric tons kind of production facility.
Okay, so can we safely assume it will increase our, the company will grow by more than 50% due to that expansion? Is that the possibility because of those blocks?
We will be grow 25% to 30% CAGR is our historical, and that will be the part of that only.
Okay, and this merger numbers will able to reflect from FY22, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Sajid Lora from Birla Sun Life. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. So first question would be on your particular molecule, which goes into the API for antiretroviral for HIV, the dolutegravir one. So what is the market share now currently globally of dolutegravir, and what is the pricing outlook hereon?
Okay, market share is still we are holding the key position of the market share of dolutegravir in WHO market, and still we are holding 70-75% market of the total requirement of the intermediate of dolutegravir, and pricing is it is suppressed, but our margin is intact with the pricing because the raw material is also we produce in-house, so that helping us to keep our margin intact.
Okay, so there's no particular pricing pressure which we've seen at least in this quarter. And so do you think there's going to be pricing pressure as and when the market share increases, there are more players, etc.? Do we see pricing pressure on that?
We are well prepared for that. So dolutegravir raw intermediates, we are well prepared. We are completely backward integrated up to the very basic chemical. So our raw material is starting from chlorine kind of thing. So that will chlorine and ammonia. So that cannot. So competitor will be difficult for them to reach to our level, which is what we believe.
Okay, so no, I'm not talking about the competitor. I'm talking about the API prices going down and resultant our pricing power going down. So I'm not saying that the new
API price already gone down to 50%, and still we are holding the higher cake with the higher margin.
Okay. So you what you are trying to say is your pricing pressure will not go down, and neither will your margins. They are expected to remain intact.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then any new portfolio product which you've added in the portfolio in this first half, or anything which looks exciting or which can be looked forward to in the coming quarters?
We had introduced two new products, which is import substitute, and these two products is in Q3 will be giving us the revenue. Q2 was the sampling time where we had given some trial quantity to all the customers in India, and now Q3 is going to be a main commercial supply start in Q3.
And this two new products which you're referring to, which will be to which illness, which category it will be catering to?
It is in cardiovascular.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, lastly, in GOL, Gujarat Organics, the margin guidance, obviously the pre-acquisition, it used to hover at around 4 to 5%. Now you said it is in single digits. So is it in high single digits? It's closer to that pre-IPO or pre-acquisition kind of EBITDA margins?
No, it's quite closer to the double-digit figure. We are just about to reach double-digit figure for this acquired business.
Okay, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mehul Sheth from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and congratulations for good set of numbers. So first question on your gross margin on a consolidated level. So can you break it down between like what has really contributed to this gross margin expansion from say sequentially 43 to 54 and YOY if we see 47 to 54. So can you give some breakup how the margin has grown over last year Q-on-Q as well as on the YOY basis?
See, as just Naresh Bhai mentioned some time back that we have been continuously working on all the products on a quarterly and monthly basis for any kind of improvement in yield or improvement in supply chain, and that has been the reason we have been able to improve our margin for last few financial years. One more reason over and above what Naresh Bhai just said during his presentation, that because we have additional inventory of 8-9 crore in terms of FG and WIP which was not being dispatched during the end of this quarter. So those overheads with inventory brings down the impact of the total cost of material consumed. So that is the reason because of which our operational expenses are on a higher side, but because of the lower dispatches that is sitting on the inventory, and ultimately it brings down the overall cost of material consumed.
Okay. Also, do you have any benefit of let's say a price differential pass on that you must have done in Q1 of FY22 that is reflecting in Q2 of FY22 and that is improving the gross margin?
Largely what we can see is because we are actively working on our costing, and we try to pass on whatever is being there in input cost pass to the customer. But largely yes, we can say largely because of our process innovation only and the improvement at our operational level only gets a better price, get better gross margin, not because of the improved pricing.
And also on your say Q2 sales growth of around 34%, can you break it down into how much was the volume led and how much was the price led growth?
Just hold on. Yeah.
See, largely it is coming because of the volume only, but the precise figure I have to come back on this for precise number, but largely it has been because of the volumes only.
Okay, sir. Just last question on your utilization level. So, can you give us your utilization level at your standalone means at the Surat plant, and also when we say Gujarat Organic has done 39 crore of 40 crore kind of odd sales and the margin is around high single digit level. So, what level of utilization you have achieved in those two plants, and which has basically helped you to improve the margin from say 3-4% level to almost like a high single digit. So was utilization was one of the factor of
around 70% utilization level is for our
Unit 1.
Unit 1.
And Unit 2 and Unit 3 is somewhere around 45 to 50.
And so when we say 100 crore of sales, so what level of utilization we are expecting in the Gujarat Organics by year end?
40%.
Around 40. Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Poddar from Nippon India AIF. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. So, primarily 3 questions. First one is, could you probably call out what is the capex for this year? Because I think we've done only about 8 crores, 9 crores in capex till date. So
Yes, 7 crore.
So this CapEx is mainly for the maintenance and in the Gujarat Organics for some modification before start up the plant and all in our system.
So, but our capex, what was the capex line, let's say, for FY22 and 23?
It's somewhere around FY23, somewhere around 50, and FY24 is somewhere around 50 to 80.
And this year, FY22?
Is somewhere around 20.
It's 90 crores, right?
Around 20 crore. But
20. Okay.
CapEx, just we mentioned, Naresh bhai, that we are putting up a separate facility to cater to revenue of year 23. So that is still under working. So number is difficult to predict right now, but around 20 crore is the what capex we are expecting for existing business.
Okay. And what sort of cost inflation have you witnessed, let's say, in the first half of this quarter? And how much price increase will you have taken to offset that?
Cost mainly increasing for very basic material only. And for us, we can say that around 7-8% is the cost, average cost increase in our materials.
And that we had passed on to the customer.
And this is for the first half or this is for this quarter?
This is for H1.
Yeah, this is for H1. Okay. Okay, and one last one, bookkeeping. So what is the tax rate guidance for this year?
Sorry?
What is the tax rate guidance for this full year?
Sorry,
Effective tax rate guidance for this year? I think in first half you are at that 23% ballpark. Is 25% the guided rate, or should we expect a 22-23% kind of tax rate for this year?
Okay, tax rate you are talking about.
Right.
Margins, EBITDA, guidance margin.
Okay, EBITDA again we are expecting to marginally improve in the.
Sir, actually, sorry, I'm asking about the tax rate, not EBITDA margin.
Tax rate we are expecting 25%.
25%. Okay, thank you.
Because we have moved to the new regime.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manoj Baheti from Carnelian Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. I have a couple of questions. So the first question is, like, if I go through your DRHP, there is around 20% kind of raw material dependency on China, and around 10% of our sales happens to a Chinese manufacturer. So, are you facing some challenges on both on the sales to China as well as raw material which we procure from China?
Sales to China is already secured, so currently there is no issue in orders from China. Whereas from raw material receiving from China, order already placed, and only thing is that the orders are delivery is little bit delaying by 1 month or 1.5 months because of the logistic issue. Otherwise, there is not any as such in this quarter or in half year. There is no as such any impact of that in our cost.
Okay. And over a medium to long term, are you seeing this as a risk? Are you planning to bring down this raw material dependency to China?
Yes, we already in last 1 decade we had reduced from 70 to 18%. So that is our continuous approach, and we continuously working on focusing on our reducing our dependency on imports.
Okay. And sir, second question is if I see the raw material prices which has gone up significantly, especially methanol, toluene, and all those. So you have already passed on the increase in raw material cost to your end consumer, right?
Yes, sir. That is what is process is going on, and because in domestic we always have a spot business So every time when the new order coming, then we give them the incremental offer to them so that we can cover our commodity price increment.
Right. And lastly, sir, I have one more question. If I see your product portfolio, most of the products you have like kind of 60 to 70% kind of market share, and all these products, many of these products are like going in generic use where the end growth is around 7 to 10%. So when I connect like your 60-70% market share in most of the products where end products are growing at 7 to 10%. So how do we get a exponential kind of like when you are saying 25% kind of growth trajectory? So how do we match these two things? That so basically from where the growth will come if I see this kind of product profile here.
See, if you already studied that and you are knowing much better than me, but we have a 3 module in that. The generic module is contributing somewhere around 50% of the revenue. But in our growth is coming from existing product, which is sizably growing at between 6 to 10%, which is a more dominating product. But apart from that, every year there are 5 to 10 products which are bringing new opportunities, and it's going for launching. And also here the margin is little bit also higher, and the growth is somewhere around 35 to 40% of the final API. So that bringing us a good opportunity to grow our product profile. And third is the new product and new chemical entity business, which is also very high margin, and we are also growing that business, also growing at a 5%. So like this way, it's a combination of basket between existing big product, new product coming into the every year, and then the new chemical development. So this is how our growth is maintaining every year.
Got it. Thanks for this explanation. So basically, our higher growth will be contributed by new product introduction as well as on the NCE side, right?
It's a cumulatively, I can say. We cannot generate because it's a balancing, right? Because the quantity is with the old product, new product is a lower quantity but the higher value, and that's why it's a balancing between two products. Two basket, and it is giving us the average revenue of a CAGR of 20% growth, 25% growth.
Got it, sir. Thank you. Thanks for taking my questions.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, please press star and 1 if you wish to ask a question. The next question is on the line of Dhaval Shah from Swan Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Abhishek bhai, in this capacity utilization you mentioned around 70%, right, for our AMI Organics for Sachin unit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. So now, what is the maximum we can do?
85 to 80, 80 to 85.
80 to 85. Okay. And then typically, so this one product. So how many batches we run in a year in terms of the different products we do? So it's a MPP. So will it have like around 30-40 products in a single reactor in a year? How does it happen?
It's a very technical and very good questions you had asked. See, basically, we have it's a multi-purpose facility having 24 reactors and 16 GMP production lines. So we can produce at a time 16 products on a floor. So it's a daily basis. On an average, 12 to 16 products is already going every day. And number of batches are all depends on the size of the batch. So it can be vary from 100 kg batch size to 500 kg batch size, or sometimes 1000 kg batch size. So it all depends on which product is going on with which combination.
Got it. And similarly, the margins will also differ.
Margin will be always is a average out, because operating cost is going to be applied for on a kg basis, right? So 100 kg operating cost will be a little bit higher, but with 1000 kg operating cost will be little lower. So it is always a weighted average out.
When you're doing your pricing of the product, you would be seeing your revenue on a, like on per number of hours the reactor is running. you would be seeing your margins that way, that how much you are making if product A takes around, say, 2 hours to come out of the reactor versus product B, and what sort of money you make? How do you do the selection of the product?
It's very confidential, but we do calculations with raw material cost, operating cost, effluent treatment cost, packaging cost, and these all is a consideration at the time of product development and PDR development. So we make a dossier of that, and that dossier is include everything about the costing of the utilities and costing of the labor involvement and everything. And with this we will consider, and then if there is a variable in anything, we just put in that, so the new cost will come out of the every time.
Got it. So basically, just to give you answer that double by, we definitely load those operational costs attached to particular product while arriving at a pricing of any of the product.
Okay. Because if I understand, the reason I'm asking is because the higher market share is mentioned in the RHP is a result of your process chemistry, right? I mean, is your the process which you have made for a particular product, and I think you are there in all of the processes, which is giving you, that cost advantage, and then no new company can enter into it.
So, Dalbhai, this is the one of the main niche advantage of AMI Organics compared to all other manufacturers, that any product can survive with not only with the price or not only with the quality, but at what point you are introducing the product in the market. So AMI Organics is always first introducer in India, and that is the reason why we are always holding the higher cake, because we have a long experience of handling this product. We enter when it is in regulated or in a clinical development, whereas the other competitor might be entering when it's becoming generic or when they see that potentiality of the product. So this is the difference between us and others. That is the reason also we are very confident about our product performance in our pipeline as well, because we are registered with all the world big pharmas, generic players with their DMF, and once we enter in the DMF, it is our secure business.
Got it. And so last question, any updates on the pediatric opportunity in Trazodone?
Sir, it is not with me, because the Trazodone is growing very well, and this year we are expecting not 10% but beyond 10% growth, which is based on that orders we are receiving from our vendors, so customers. So it is definitely going well. I don't know that pediatric application performance, because it is only in USA.
Okay.
So it is not available with us. But in Trazodone business itself is growing very well in AMI.
So great, sir. I'll soon come down to meet you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Aman Maurya from AlfAccurate Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir, again. Sir, in terms of the depreciation, so this GOL depreciation will come when? What would be the yearly depreciation for 22 in that context?
Gujarat Organics, total depreciation would be around 10 crore for us in FY22.
Okay.
So around 5.5 to 6 crore will be from Gujarat Organics.
Okay. So in Q2, there would be the Gujarat Organics depreciation would be there in the Q2 depreciation?
Yes, it is there, sir.
Okay. So overall,
even for the full half year, H1 FY22, GOL depreciation is there.
Okay. Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Tanmay from Mirae Asset. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity, Naresh sir. Just one question on last year's numbers. Did we have any impact due to lockdown in the last year H1 or Q1 numbers?
No.
Okay, so there was no impact, right? Got it. ठीक है. Okay, that was the only question. Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be our last question for today. I now hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you everyone for your questions, and we hope we have been able to answer most of your queries. If we have missed out on any of your questions, kindly reach out to our IR advisor, Christensen, and we will get back to you offline. Wishing each and every one of you happy Diwali and a prosperous New Year. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prashant ji, and thank you, Ambit, for arranging this call. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Ambit Capital, that concludes today's call. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.